In a forgotten corner of Dayton, two boys stared at the sky, not to admire it, but to challenge it. With no degrees, no blueprint, and no permission from the world, they bent wind to their will. This is the story of quiet minds, relentless grit, and the day gravity lost its grip. The Wright brothers, soaring from curiosity to legacy. In the late 19th century, in a quiet town called Dayton, Ohio, two boys were growing up in a house filled not with riches, but with books, ideas, and unrelenting curiosity. Wilbur and Orville Wright were far from ordinary. They were thinkers, tinkerers, and rebels in their own soft-spoken way. The sons of a bishop, Milton Wright, and Susan Kerner Wright, their upbringing combined discipline with freedom. They were encouraged not just to obey, but to ask why. One day, their father brought home a toy helicopter made of cork, bamboo, and rubber bands. It didn't last long, but the impression it made was enduring. The idea that a machine could rise into the air and stay there? That thought stayed with them, silently shaping their future. The making of inventors. Wilbur was a serious student, deeply intellectual with a love for reading. Orville, younger by 4 years, was playful and inventive. He built his own printing press as a teenager and started publishing a local paper. Together, they ventured into bicycle making, sensing the economic boom. Their shop became more than just a workplace. It was a laboratory of ideas. In their spare time, they obsessed over bird flight, wind patterns, and the failures of past flying machines. Rather than seeing those failures as deterrents, they saw them as challenges to improve upon. They studied the work of aviation pioneers like Otto Lilienthal, a German glider enthusiast who had died while testing his creations. Lilienthal's ideas on lift fascinated them. But what truly distinguished the Wrights was their focus on control. Flight wasn't enough, you had to tame the air. Building the dream. They built kites. They built gliders. And they tested each prototype personally, often crashing, but always learning. Between 1900 and 1902, they made repeated trips to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, selected for its strong and steady winds. They constructed gliders with innovative designs, testing out a concept known as wing warping, a method that allowed pilots to twist the wings for balance and control, a precursor to modern ailerons. When their gliders didn't perform as expected, they didn't blame the wind or the tools. They built a wind tunnel by hand and tested hundreds of airfoil shapes to understand lift more precisely than anyone had before. It was obsessive, methodical, and brilliant. The leap into the sky. On December 17, 1903, everything changed. The brothers had built the Flyer, a motor-powered aircraft with a 12-horsepower engine. Orville, chosen by a coin toss, took the first flight, 120 feet in 12 seconds. Wilbur took the final flight that day, 852 feet in 59 seconds. They had done it, achieved the first controlled, sustained, powered flight by a human. And yet, the world hardly noticed. They returned home quietly, continued testing, and perfected their design by 1905, producing the first practical flying machine. They didn't chase instant fame. They chased refinement, precision, and understanding, setbacks, and resolve. They faced skepticism, patent battles, and national doubt. European aviation circles dismissed their claims. American officials were slow to respond. But eventually, the tide turned. In 1908, they demonstrated their aircraft in France and wowed skeptics. In 1909, they secured contracts with the U.S. Army. Now the world was listening. Their design began influencing aircraft production across the globe. From humble beginnings, they became international icons of human achievement. But for Wilbur and Orville, it was never about glory. It was always about possibility. Legacy in the sky. Wilbur died in 1912, at just 45, from typhoid fever, a brilliant mind gone too soon. Orville lived on until 1948, witnessing the birth of jet engines, commercial airliners, and rockets. He had once built gliders with sticks and cloth, and now he saw humans fly faster than sound. He saw airplanes change warfare, commerce, travel, even dreams. The Smithsonian Institution and NASA today trace their beginnings to the spark the Wright brothers lit. No aerospace breakthrough can deny their DNA. Lessons from the sky. The Wright brothers' story isn't just about flight. It's about the nature of vision. They didn't invent airplanes in a lab full of money or under the glare of spotlights. They did it with their own hands, in a dusty shop, while the world shrugged. Their genius lay not in luck but in effort. Grit over glamour. Learning over knowing. Questions over assumptions. They're a reminder that you don't need permission to dream. You only need obsession, passion, and a willingness to fail without letting failure define you. If we worked on the assumption that what is accepted as true really is true, then there would be little hope for advance. Orville Wright. The only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing. Wilbur Wright. Final takeaway. In a way, the Wright brothers didn't just give us wings, they gave us a mindset, one that says progress isn't inevitable, it's built. That the biggest breakthroughs begin with seemingly small obsessions. A toy helicopter, a notebook sketch, a gust of wind in an open field. And if you ever doubt your power to change something, remember this. 2 young men who barely graduated school dreamed of the sky and built the plane. They began with a toy, they ended with a legacy. From the windswept dunes of Kitty Hawk to the far reaches of space, their dream became humanity's wings. This isn't just where flight began, it's where possibility took off.